Just setting up. So many things that I need to show you today to whoever is coming in. Okay. I'm gonna do this today, what we started, I think it's 2 weeks ago, if not more. I'm going to continue with this cover for the journal, a fairy house in a tree, or a gnome house in a tree, whatever. And I'm going to go over so many ways to go about it with things that you have at home, and it's very easy, and all kinds of ways to go about it. And I have all kinds of things to show you. I'll probably do it while things get dry, so a lot of stuff is going on today. And per usual, I don't see the chat. Let's see. Still have problems with it. And still don't have enough space on the desk for everything. I think that even if I had 2 desks, it won't be enough. Okay, so I finally see something. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Brenda. Okay. Let's just see if I continue to see the chat. Okay, so I want to do this cover, and I'm going with fairy house in a tree. And for those who didn't see the last live when I started it, I just put a joint compound on top, and with a pencil or stylus, it doesn't matter, just made this indentations while it was still wet, and just let it dry. And now it's dry, of course. The Portland studio. Okay, so any ready-made paste can be used here. I've used the joint compound. I've got a bucket of it from the hardware store, and that's what I usually use. If you've got modeling paste, you can use modeling paste. There are many recipes for modeling paste on YouTube, so that's another option. And there are all kinds of ready-made pastes in the hardware store, like wood filler, so that's another way to go about it. So it has a little bit more elasticity than a joint compound, but I'm talking about when it dries, because with all the ready-made paste, the most important thing is it's how it dries. Because if you took like a plaster of Paris and mixed it with water, it would be great paste, but once it dries, it becomes brittle. You don't use it on something that can be, I don't know, moved and messed around with. Best explanation I can find. Okay, so now that it's dried, if I don't like something, if I've got too much of a texture or a place that I don't like, all I need to do is take some sanding paper. I have this stuff, which is again from the cheap store, and it's from the hardware aisle. If you don't have it, you can take a little piece of like 2x4 and put a sanding paper on it. It just makes life easier than just dealing with the sandpaper. And I'm just doing a little bit because the noise, some people don't like it. So I will just go over places that I don't like, that are too much raised, and just go over it. And of course, get rid of the powder that now I have. You don't want to have leftover powder. So now the texture of a tree bark, it can stay like this, it can get better, depends how much you want to apply to it, and well, how much you want it to be realistic. I'm not going to do it too much into realistic. It doesn't matter to me. I just want something whimsical. And of course, there are also all kinds of stencils with wood bark that you can do textures with. And there are all kinds of silicone molds that can be used. Again, it's up to you if you want to go into doing something more elaborate. I'm doing it with things that you can find and very easy. So I want to add texture to it, and again, several ways to go about it. I'm going to use the white backing of paper napkin to add texture. I prefer using this. It's for me, it's easier to handle. Another way to go about it is with paper towels. Of course, with paper towels, the texture will be more, you will have more texture. You can also try with tissue paper that I personally don't like for this project because it's less, um, it won't be as easy to handle and get into the already texture that I have here. So that's why I'm using the backing of a paper napkin. Now you can do the extra texture. I'm just taking the two plies apart. You can go about it in one piece, or if it's easier to you, you can just tear it to little pieces and work your way just piece by piece. And I'm going to use a white glue with water. That's the glue that I use for dealing with paper napkins. I'm also going to use it here, not even if I didn't use the backing of a paper napkin, because it will be again easier to go into the already texture instead of just white glue without the add of the water. So I'm not going to do little pieces, but I am going to tear some just so it would be easier for me. And I'm going to glue them sticking out. Why? Because I like to go, after everything is done, I like to go over and then do it like this, and then I cover it with something here. That's just how I like to do it. If you don't want to, you just glue right like this without going off the edges. I'm also planning to go with texture all around my journal. I'm just doing the start here, and I will do the rest off camera, because I'm not going to do anything else there, just add some texture. Maybe I will do more of the tree bark, I'm not sure yet. Right now I'm just dealing with the front of the journal. So I'm taking a little bit of glue and I'm going like this and just making sure it goes into the indentations and placing my paper napkin. Oh, I forgot something that I wanted to do. I'm going to scrunch it a little bit so I will get more texture. I can also help it along and just put it like this so it won't be straight. And now I'm just tapping because it helps get into the indentation that I've done. And I can also go like this, but whatever works for you, it doesn't really matter. It's just a little bit of added texture. It's going to be very subtle, and you right now it's white on white, and the backing of a paper napkin becomes almost translucent when glued, so not much to see right now. So I'm taking another piece. And of course, if you've got a corner, it's just easier to put it where you have a corner. I'm just going to go all over with the glue, like so. And I forgot again to do more texture. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's see. Oh, suddenly I have got people in the chat. Okay. Hi, Judy. How Celine? Sis, TX, I don't know your name. Sorry. You've been binge watching my videos lately. Hi, Juanita. Rick Green 1, hello. It wasn't a modeling paste, it was joint compound. I talked about it, but I can go over it again. I'm using joint compound. I have a very big bucket from the hardware store, and that's what I usually use. It's cheaper, and I like to use it. You can use modeling paste, you can use a wood filler, all kinds of stuff from a ready-made paste from the hardware store. Or you can make your own modeling paste, all kinds of recipes on YouTube. Okay. I'm trying to do it fast because it really doesn't matter. It's just a little bit of added texture. As I said, it's up to you how much texture you want. And it can overlap the other pieces. At first, when I thought about this project, I thought about doing like here, some kind of background, a fairy, and an opening door. But then I decided that it was a little bit too much and a little bit, I don't know what the correct word for it, but a little bit, I don't know, juvenile. Decided against it when I thought more about it. And I'm just going to do this without an opening door. Maybe I will do something like that in a later project. Don't know. Okay. Trying to keep corners in the corners. Okay. And I've got just a little bit here that I need to cover, and then we are going to deal with doing the door. And again, all kinds of ways to go about it. And of course, even on this, you can build more texture if you want. Just by adding little pieces or large pieces or crunching more a paper napkin. Options are endless, I think. Okay. Covered, can be moved aside to dry. Now, here is the template that I've done last time for the door. It almost got thrown away to the trash, and then I said, no, wait, I already done this. And in the last minute, I saved it because now it's the template for the door. Why did I wanted to throw it away? Okay, now options for the door. This is the template, and options for the door. I'm using a chipboard, or at least what I think is equivalent to the chipboard that I see in other videos. I don't know exactly if it's precise, if it's the same material, but that's as close as I can get. I can get this in large pieces here in craft stores, and in small, you can buy an A4, you can buy A3, and more. I'm going to use this to do the door and to do some bricks around it, and there are all kinds of ways to go about it. Now, if you are using, again, I'm going to call it chipboard. If you want it to be hard and not get indentation later on, the best way to go about it, that I know, that's what we used when I was in the university, when I had to build a model of the sets of the theater with the, you need to do a model of your set and the stage and everything, and it needs to be to scale. The material we used to build everything was this, the chipboard, and it had to be strong, so it won't this it won't break with just moving it from place to place. And the best way that I know to make this into something very hard is to take acrylic wall paint. You can probably do it with acrylic craft paint, but it's when you are dealing with large pieces, it's just not worth it. So we all of us had a big bucket of white acrylic paint for walls, and we used to prepare a very large piece each time of the chipboard. It comes in something in the size of like almost a desk. So we used to prepare it in advance and then cut pieces out of it. Another way to go about it, if you don't have chipboards, there are something that is called gray boards, or for a better explanation, what is used as the material for hardcover books. And just for an example, gray board is also a lot of time you can find it at the back of all kinds of paper pads or canvas pads, watercolor pads, whatever. This is the gray board. and it comes in all kinds of thicknesses. And this one is very thick. I wouldn't use it. It's harder to cut than the chipboard, but that's an option depending on the thickness of the gray board. And if you really want to go with materials that can be found at home and not buy anything from the craft store, all kinds of packaging like pizza boxes and cereal boxes can be used. If you don't mind the thickness of the box, then you can use it as is. Just make sure that this side is up, because this side is glossy and it's not fun to work on it. If you really must, anything that is glossy can be worked on if you sand it a little bit and put a layer of gesso. Or again, if you've got white acrylic paint for walls, that's another option. Now, if you still want to use this and you want thickness like a chipboard, then you have to take two pieces. I'm just going to tear this just so you can see what I'm talking about. You take two pieces and you glue them, let's say front to front. That's the front of the packaging, front to front. You make sure that it's glued everywhere, that you don't miss anything, and you let it sit until it's dry, and then you've got something similar to chipboard or gray board. So that's doing the same thing with packaging, but of course it takes more time and more work. So as I said, I'm going to use this, and I didn't coat it with white acrylic wall paint because I don't need to most of the time. When I'm doing projects like this, I will go with gesso over everything, and I will explain about it later on. So I don't need to do anything. And even if I don't go with gesso on everything, because it's the door and it's already going on this hardcover, it's not something that needs dealing with. It's just going to be glued flat here. So I'm not concerned about covering it up. So I'm just going to use this as a template, and it's just a very old piece, so it's yellowing in some places, this piece of chipboard. And what I want to do is I'm going to trace around my template. Here we go. And I wanted to have some kind of bricks going around the door, the opening, something like that. For that matter, I can just go like this and something like that. It doesn't have to be precise. It doesn't need to be anything. Something like that. So another way to go about the bricks, well, several ways to go about the bricks. Because it's on chipboard, there is a way that you, if you don't want to start cutting brick by brick and positioning it on the cover, then you just take it as is and you make indentation with either a stylus or a pen that doesn't work. All kinds of stuff that can make indentation, and it's up to you to decide how much of an indentation you want. So I can go about it like this. You can't see it, I'm sorry. It's not something that can be seen, maybe from the side, I don't know. So you can go about just making indentation. And that reminds me, there is another material that can be used, especially when we are doing fake things. You can take craft foam and do the same thing. You can either cut it or you can make indentation in it. And it's going to be covered, so there is no risk using something soft like craft foam. Just another way to go about it. And I'm already thirsty from talking too much. Okay, let's see. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Beth Ann. Okay, hi, Pam. Okay, I can't read. I think if it's either German or or if you're from the Netherlands, I don't know, because I see Danke. So either way, I don't read it. So sorry. Even German, I know some some words, but if you're from the Netherlands, then I don't know any word. Maybe one, 88. I've been to Amsterdam like I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and we were going on a bus, and each station, it says the name of the station, and you read the name on the of the station on a some kind of a screen, digital screen, and it seems like the letters just don't fit whatever it is. No connection between the letters and what you are hearing. So hi, Evie. So, okay. Now, I wanted to have the door to be like to look like it's made from wood boards, something like that. Okay? And again, all kinds of way to go about it. I can just make indentations in the chipboard. It's really easy. Even with my nail, I can do it. Of course, it's not. It's better to take something else, but it can be done. So I can make indentation. I can take it as a template, and I can use popsicle sticks to make the door. It depends on the size. You can use this kind of sticks that I don't know how to call them, what doctors used to use for checking your throat. So that's another way to go about it. When I was in the university for doing the models for the stage, we used something that called balsa. It's usually used in building models like planes or for kites, and it's very expensive. Nowadays, I don't buy balsa, I don't use it, especially because I don't need to do something to scale. Just when we had to do it for some kind of building a model for the stage, then when we needed something for wood, we would buy balsa. And so lots of ways to go about it. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to first cut the door out of this, and I'm going to try let's see. I'm going to try doing it with my nail scissors because I prefer to do curvy things with my nail scissors that just disappeared on me. Oh boy. Maybe this one. I don't like this one. I've got 3 and I like only 1. Go figure. No, it's difficult, too much. So just like this. It's a little bit hard to do it, but it can be done. And if you are more comfortable with a X-Acto knife or a box, what's it called? Forgot the name. Box cutter, whatever. If you are more comfortable with this and going around something curvy, then go with this. I usually use it for straight lines. But sometimes even the scissors don't go inside something, so if you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice. And you just need to go patiently around and cut it. Sometimes you need to go like 2 or 3 times until it gets through the chipboard. Almost. That's not the fun part. Definitely not the fun part of the project. And again, if you are not concerned about thickness, then you can do it easier with just using packaging like cereal boxes, pizza boxes, whatever. Okay. A lot of times when you cut the chipboard, there is all of this that's not nice. Again, you can take the same things. I have this sanding paper and you can go over it. I'm not going to do a lot. I'm just doing it lightly. Some are don't like the noise that it's doing. So some you go over like this and get rid of all this. And I've got the door. Now, as I said, I can go like this. I can now cut around it and then cut each brick. I can just do the indentation. And of course, I could also make more work for myself. Go like this. And then cut and start placing them around my door. But there is no need to. It's difficult as is. Okay, so moving all this aside, I'm going to cut this. Let's... oh, another thing, if you have it, most probably don't have. Another way to go doing all kinds of marks on chipboard is if you have the tools that are used in making jewelry. They have all kinds of forgot the name for it. Like oh my god, what do you call a nail file? So there are all kinds of files for jewelry, and there are some that come round, and you can do all kinds of indentations just by filing with those kind of tools if you've got them. I had one model that I had to do for the glass menagerie, and all the backdrop of the set was brick walls of buildings. It took me forever because it also had to be in scale, and the bricks were this size, all the bricks, and it needs to be realistic. So I had to work all through a very large piece of chipboard and do all the indentation and make bricks. That was something I'll never forget it. So now I'm just cutting this space that is going to be the bricks around my door. While everything will wait to dry, I've got so many things to show you. Okay, started experimenting with my laminating machine, so I've got some stuff to show you and all kinds of other stuff. Almost. Now, even on this that I'm going to do the bricks, I can add, again, I can add some of the backing of a paper napkin, depending on how much texture I want for every piece. Okay, I can move this aside, and just so you will see, this is going around here, and I'm going to I can all, yeah, let's take one. Okay, just so I will keep with the order of the bricks. And let's take a nail file, not this, just because it's easier. I don't want my bricks to be so pointy. I want them irregular and a little bit rounded in the corners. And I can also go inside in a 45 angle, just so they will look more like bricks. I don't know. So again, this is up to you if you want to go with this kind of details or you don't want to. Okay, so now it looks a little bit better, and I'm planning to go over all of this with a paper napkin, so I'm not concerned about the face of the brick being so smooth and perfect. And this is my first brick here. I can already take glue and put my first brick here. Now, if you want more gap between the bricks, then you need to file more of the brick in between. This is gonna take time. I'm not going to do the whole bricks now. Just so you can see what I'm talking about. Maybe it will be a little bit faster with this, because this is a more coarse. No, I can't stand right now the noise that it makes. Sorry. It will take a little bit more time. Don't be afraid to make it not even if you're doing something like that. Okay, so next brick. Yeah, okay, so that's about the bricks, and afterwards when they will be all here, I'm going to go over them again with some of the white backing of paper napkin, so they will have a little bit more texture to them. Stay in place. Now, the door. So, the door, what I'm thinking is that I'm just going to do some indentation in it. I just want a hint of the door made out of a, what do you call, let's sometimes the words not plywood, not 2x4, whatever, from wood, from pieces of wood. And again, I'm not looking for this to be perfect. I don't want a perfect lines, but I do want something to guide me. So I'm placing it here on the cutting mat, and right now I just want to plan where I'm putting. Oh boy, too much stuff here. Getting rid of what I've done. And I'm going to use the lines on the mat to guide me. Let's see. Yeah, that's good enough. Something like that. They don't need to be even or anything. If you really want to make it symmetrical, make a template on a tracing paper, fold it in half, do whatever you want on one side, and then you have the other side, because tracing paper is translucent, so you can see to the other side. All my templates are made on tracing paper. Even here, I could have used the paste. Again, all kinds of way to go about making texture. All the materials I've talked about at the beginning can be used even here. I think I'll leave it. No, I'll just move this a little bit. This line, I'll just move it a little bit. Yeah, something like that. And I'm crooked. That's better. Okay, now I'm going to do indentations with the stylus where I've put, and now I'm doing it by hand without the ruler because I don't want it perfect. You can do it with a ruler if you want to. And you can do a more deep indentations for in between the wood boards, and you can do a hint of indentations of wood like this, almost like I did on the cover. And of course, as I said, you can use popsicles, sticks, popsicle sticks. You know what I mean. I'm putting pressure and going over, so I will have more indentation. Almost. I need to check the chat. Just finish with this. Don't know if you can see it, but I'm just going lightly and doing some kind of impression of wood. Okay, now I'm going to drink something and check the chat. Hi, Julia. Okay. Meat packaging trays, you mean like styrofoam? I don't like to use it because even my, just by trying to handle the styrofoam, even if my nail touches it, it makes an indentation. So it never stays as it's supposed to be. There wasn't a live last week. I was in Bulgaria. styrofoam is not good for this. I know people that do stamps with them. I don't like it, and some do use a heat tool, like soldering iron on that, and that's even worse because the fumes that come from it are not good, to say the least. Bulgaria was great. I really needed to disengage from what is going on here and to disengage from everyday work, laundry, dishes, and etc. So it was great. Okay. So I've got the door, and here I'm not going to add anything in terms of texture. What I am going to do is, let's see, I want the indentations to be darker, and what I'm going to do is just going to take a 10B pencil. You can use 6B, 10B, 12B, whatever. This is just darker, and the graphite is softer, and I'm going to use it in between the boards. I want this to be darker, so when I'm going with the paint on top, this will stay darker. Of course, I can use a felt marker, felt pen, but I don't know, I feel that this is the way to go here. And if you want to, you can use something like a 2HB or a 2 pencil or whatever you call it, and do the lines like this, the ones that I've done, very gently. I can go about it like this. And on top of it, I'm going to do a wash. And I'm going to use, I'm thinking of using watercolors just because it's easier. But you can take any acrylic craft paint and add water to dilute it and make a wash. And or anything that is water-based can be used. Okay, watercolors. I really wanted the door to look like wood with some kind of a blue wash, so that's what I'm going for. Let's see. Not sure about which color. Taking a watercolor brush, and where did I put? Here it is. I'll try it first on here. Let's see, I think this color, yeah, that's the color I want. The things that make me happy. Now, a chipboard, at least the ones, this that I have, and again, I don't know if the consistency of your chipboard is the same. When you are doing you're putting something wet on top of it, it doesn't matter if it's paint or glue, it tends to curve. The only way to deal with this is to counter it from the back. That's why when I told you, when we prepared a large pieces of chipboard to make the models, we coated both sides with acrylic wall paint, because if you do it only on one, then it doesn't stay flat, and you need it to be straight and flat. I'm going lightly because I'm not sure yet if I want it darker, and just better to go light at the beginning and add as you go. I'm not sure that the tree bark texture will be dry after I finish going all over all the other things. I hope so, so I can start showing you how I'm going to color it. But if not, then it will have to wait for the next week, next live. I was supposed to go in October. Oops, it picked another color, but that's fine. Just more interesting. I'm just adding more of the same, and I don't care that it picked some of this green that I had here. Just more interesting, as I said. Now, sometimes when watercolors dry, they are more faded, so maybe when it's dry I will add more, not sure yet. I'm not trying to make it even. It doesn't need to be, I'm on purpose not doing it evenly, because one solid color that just makes things look like plastic, and this way it looks more organic and more like a wash on wood. So here we go. Maybe I'll add more later on, more paint later on. It needs to dry so I can see how it looks. Okay, I've got my door, just so you can see. Here is the door. I'm planning the bricks to be in grays and the tree bark in gray brown. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to move it aside, and also this, and now I'm going to talk on all kinds of stuff, and I've got all kinds of stuff to show you. Oh yeah, another more ways for texture, the things that you can find easily. Masking tape. Masking tape is great, especially for tree bark. And I'm going to take, let's do it here. And if you've got other stuff that you're not sure of, just take a piece of something, even if it's a shoebox, and make some experiments. That's what I do when I'm not sure how something will work. Just take a little piece. Now you can take the masking tape and just make things like that, flatten it, go over it with glue because you don't want the folds to flap. Go over it with glue, and again you've got some texture that is a little bit different but can work as a tree bark. I've done something with masking tape with larger, maybe I've got it here to show you, with larger folds, and covered it with black paint and then went over it with silver wax and a little bit of metallic blue, and it looked almost like metal. So let's see, I think maybe I've got something here. Yeah, I think there is even a video. I've done it. Yeah, here it is. That's all this is just masking tape, and here I went more with the blue here, but you can take it all kinds of ways. Just by changing colors and metallics, it becomes different altogether. So again, just experiment with small pieces and see where it goes. I've done this kind of technique on some, what's it called? Sometimes the easiest words for everyday life things I forget. Little pots that you plant things in them. I'm watching the chat, so someone will help me. But ugly papers. Yeah. You misspelled but. Okay. Flower pot, yeah. Planter, yeah. Clay pot, okay. So they were ugly. So I went all around them with the masking tape and black and then silver, and it turned gorgeous. It's outside the house, so I'm not going downstairs and going out of the house to bring it, but it just turned great. They were ugly. So that's another way to create texture. And another way, this can be found in hardware stores, and for me in the cheap store in the hardware aisle. And you can take it, it has adhesive in the back, and you can make texture with it. I've done tutorials I've done all kinds of, I had all kinds of bottles that I wanted texture and to make them more interesting, and that's what I've done on top of them. And again, with all kinds of colors and metallics, it just changes the look. I think I have even this. I think I have something. I was planning on doing something again with bottles because, well, because you have Halloween and because I like to do some stuff that look like oh, here it is. Found it. Yay! More show and tell. What can I say? Here we go. This was a jam jar. The texture here is from this, and this is with glue gun. And on top I glued all kinds of dried, what's it called, potpourri. So here it is. This was another bottle with the one that you put sticks in and makes a room smell nicely. So again, that's the same stuff here with black and silver. And this is a lace trim. Here I decorated, I think it was with air dry clay and some, it's a bead, some plastic, whatever, here on the top. And another one, here it's with purple and gold. And this is from where you buy for kids gag stuff like spiders and this snake, and I had a lizard and a frog, and they are some kind of foamy stuff, but it's great to put on a bottle. And again, the same thing. You wouldn't guess, if you haven't seen the video that I've done this, you wouldn't guess what this is. The top. This is, you can buy it, it's for the end of the curtain rods that you put, and it was something very old, and I replaced the curtain rod. So I took this and put it on the top of the bottle. So here we go. All kinds of stuff that can be found anywhere. And another one, this one I didn't do anything, and I just covered with gesso and then a brown acrylic paint, and then some copper, I think, no, yeah, copper metallic paint. And here I just put some flat back glass, whatever, glass stone, I don't know. So this is it. And I was planning on doing another one because I have a lot of bottles that just are waiting to do something with them. So I was planning on it, didn't get to it yet. Okay, putting this aside. So that was all kinds of other textures that you can make. And okay, next. So I started experimenting with my laminating machine. And let's see. Ooh, this is heavy. I've got all kinds of things to share. So this was just one bookmark that I've done. I think it's also on one of my videos, and I just laminated it, and I really like how it looks now. And I tried using skeleton leaves and dried flowers, and I don't like how it turned out. It needs, I think it needs some backing. I'm planning on putting like rice paper and going again into the machine, also because my laminating sheets are 125 micron, and I don't feel like they are thick enough by themselves. Here, there is already a hard, a thick paper inside with collage on top of it, so it's really sturdy and I really like it. So I'm going to try and put something in the back like rice paper and giving it another go in the machine, and it would be also be thicker, but it's kind of nice, so that's something. Now, you won't believe it, but that was done very easily in the laminating machine. A long time ago, I saw this in my cheap store. I thought it was a sticker and I bought it. But then I found out it's not a sticker. Well, not the usual sticker. This is some kind of, what to call it, plastic? I don't know, that you peel from, oh my God. You peel it and you can put it on a window. Don't know who would want to put this on a window, but that's that. It doesn't have adhesive in the back. It's just like some kind of nylon or like touch paper. I don't know, but it doesn't have an adhesive. So it stayed here and I didn't know what to do with it. And when I started doing the laminating things, I thought maybe this will work. And I put it inside one of those sheets for the laminating machine. And that's how it turned out. And I really love it. It's just great. And I made a, as you can see, a cover. I just put here in the middle this ribbon, and I've put all kinds of stuff in it because this is going to be in my next giveaway that I hope will be soon. All kinds of stuff that I made I've put here. There'll probably be more stuff going into it. So just an idea. Simple stuff can just make something that I never imagined. Okay, so that's that, and I've got a few examples more for that I have laminated. All this box is things that I collect and are going to go into the giveaway. I'm planning on doing again a giveaway, like not one at a time, but several, and just making packages and then sending them in one go. So all kinds of stuff here that I want to do a giveaway. Lots of tags and bookmarks and little journals that I've made. Some of this stuff you've seen me make on video. So yeah, all this is just waiting for me to get organized. As you can see, it's starting to just pile up. Okay. So that's another thing that I wanted to share with you. Stop. This also goes here, and this I need to work on. So here. Next. Next. Talk about ugly papers. Let's talk about but ugly papers. But I need to drink something and I need to check the chat. Okay. What did you try to paint the terracotta? Because you need to seal it. Book paper. I don't know what is a decal. Sorry. Cling stamp. No. Don't know how to call it, but it's like I bought from in the past from AliExpress and from Temu. There are things that look like touch paper or contact paper. I don't know. I don't remember if it's called touch paper or contact paper. They look like it, but they don't have adhesive in the back, and you can put them on a window on the glass by just creating like vacuum. And it's great because it doesn't have it has adhesive, and you can always peel it back, remove it and change and whatever. So that's the same stuff, that's the same plastic or whatever you call it. It's supposed to go on glass. Okay. Furniture paint, I don't think it's good. You need acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is almost like plastic. So it's a better way to go about it. Of course, there are all kinds of paints that are supposed to go on clay, but I imagine that you had already made a pot that already went through the special oven that you put clay or terracotta in. So there are also special glazes for that thing. So if it's an already made thing that already went through that special oven, then it's better to use acrylic paint on it. Yeah, shipping must be crazy here. Most of the time, yes, nowadays even more because of the war, less flights. My flight in October to Athens got cancelled. Ryanair decided that they are not to cancel the flights. Other companies are still flying. As you can see, I was in Bulgaria with Wizz Air. There are all kinds of other companies that still fly in and out of Israel. Ryanair, no. So the Athens got cancelled, and I was so looking forward to it. I was there 30 years ago, and I really wanted to go back again. My hubby wasn't there, so I was really looking forward to show him all kinds of places that I've been there. I still have another flight planned for November. We'll see if it will be. And Amazon are always had trouble shipping here, even when there is no war, and now it's even more difficult, and they have all kinds of stuff that they just decide, I don't know why, that they are not shipping to Israel. It doesn't even depends on weight or something like that. So I don't know why. So most of what I'm buying these days is from Temu just because it's more accessible to me. It's cheaper and it's faster, but this is just here. I don't have anything I'm not endorsing anything. Let's see. Yes, you can paint on the butterflies, anything like plastic, like this, or nylon, or whatever you want to call this material. I've used in the past. I've used nail polish, regular nail polish. It turns very nice. I even have um, a video that I've done some kind of a dream catcher with just, I have an example here. I've got all kinds of bits and pieces. Here is the lace trim that I've showed you, went on one of the bottles. And I had a, here it is. This is just acetate with nail polish. This is one of the pieces that I had left from the sun catcher I've done. The sun catcher, it's not sun catcher. Yeah, sun catcher. I've used a CD and also decorated it with nail polish, and some I've made a shape of a butterfly on acetate, glued it to the CD, and did three that's it, that's that's it. I'm three feathers hanging from that. So nail polish is one way. Another way is to go over with permanent markers, but a lot of time they fade. This, if it's in direct sun, will also fade, but permanent markers more. So that's the way to go about it. And I know I don't, well, I have alcohol inks. I got them. I haven't started using them. So I don't know, but I know that alcohol ink works on all kinds of surfaces like this, like acetate or plastic. So maybe that's the way to go about it. I even have, just so you will know, because it's a great idea, my mother-in-law had an old mirror. Old in terms that, you know, the silver was in some places was peeled or defected. You have like spots on, it's not clear. And she wanted to throw it away. I told her, no, you don't throw it away. First of all, it had a really nice frame, and it wasn't just a rectangle or I don't know, an oval shape. It had a very nice shape to the mirror. So what I've done, and I'll bring it here to show you an example. Let's see. At my cheap store, there is this things. This is stickers for, again, windows. So I've picked this one, and I even cut some of, you can also cut it if you don't want the whole thing or you want part of a shape. And again, it doesn't have adhesive in the back, not that I can remember, but it sticks to surfaces like mirrors or glass windows. So I colored everything with nail polish, put it on the mirror, and it looked like forgot the style, but it looked like it was genuine, and it looked like a glass with like stained glass. It looks beautiful. You never think that it's just a sticker. So just so you will know, if you have things like this in, I don't know, dollar stores, Dollar Tree, Poundland, and so, or Michael's, or whatever. So stained glass. And let's see. The CD is hanging outside. I don't have one here, but there is a video. When you go into my channel, there is a bar for searching, and you can, I think it's called like a full stained glass or something like that. And I don't remember right now the exact name for the video. Maybe something sun catcher. You will find it if you'll try to look for it. Okay. Really green one. Depending on the size, and you can do something with it depending on the size. I would, again, I don't work a lot with hard materials like glass. If you can make or give someone who know how to do it just a hole, if it's the filters that I know for a camera, they are about this size. And of course, home camera, I'm not talking about video or if you can find someone to make you a hole here, one small hole, then you can do, you can hang it and do a wind chime, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You can take them and make something beautiful, or just some mobile, interesting mobile, and you can again decorate if you want to with markers, or if you want to buy, there are all kinds of the black lines here imitate the thing that you put in stained glass in between the pieces, and there is the same something that comes in bottles that look like a tulip, if you know what I'm talking about. Tulip paint. I think I have it here. Let's see, just so you will see what I'm talking about. You can even use tulip paint, because it's, at the end of the day, it's something, it's like plastic, so you can do the contours with it on the glass. Where did I put it? Oh, okay, here. Dimensional fabric paint, it's the same as tulip, it works the same way, or it calls 3D color. There are some that are like this, there are some with all kinds of glitter, all kinds of stuff, and sometimes even just glue with glitter and go over. It doesn't matter if it's acetate or plastic or glass, you can go over with glitter glue, and it also adds to the thing. But with this kind of stuff, you can make the contour lines. I hope I'm making sense with my English. Yeah, that's about it. 52 millimeters by 58, approximately. Wind chimes, yes. Yes, you can glue a hook, all kinds of stuff uh, for jewelry. There are, I have them, but God knows where. All kinds of hooks that go on. They look like a triangle and another thing here, and you can glue with, you need a E6000 glue. This works on metal and plastic and glass. You need an E60,000. I'm just reading. Okay, I never use diamond drill, so I don't know how it works on glass. I don't work a lot with hard materials. I used to drill into the CDs, and I used a drill that is used for jewelry, a very fine drill. I think it was called a Fraser or something like that. It wasn't mine, and I borrowed from a friend. I used to because I had a lot of clear CDs without the coating. I used to work near a factory that made CDs, and some of their waste was the CDs, the plastic without the coating. So I took a lot of it. Instead of going to a landfill, I took them, and I've done several things with them. If you have something like, and it doesn't have to be on clear CDs, but I used to drill and embroider on them, do all kinds of intricate embroidery on them. And other ones I've glued paper napkins and made mobiles on, just by doing 3 or 4 and making some decoration for the wall. Yeah, but probably my English improved because I'm doing it more and more, but in everyday life, I don't have anyone to talk in English, so it's difficult. And if I don't watch videos on crafting, on what I'm doing, then I don't have the technical terms to use. And sometimes, you know, some of my English is from TV, and I stopped watching TV like, I don't know, 3 years ago, because this TV series became either too much graphic or stupid. So I stopped watching TV. I think the only one that I kept watching was NCIS, and well, Agent Leroy Gibbs don't talk about art journaling, so it wouldn't help me with my English. And other stuff that I know is from books, because I read a lot of books and I read them in English. And again, if it's not a, I don't know, a cozy mystery that is in a craft store, then again, I don't have the technical terms for it to use. Okay. Okay, I think I caught up with the chat. And let's see. I'm going to talk about ugly papers, and you know how much I hate this kind of thing. This is a Bristol paper. It comes in this size, well, in all kinds of sizes, but it comes in this big size. And I think it's 70 centimeters by 1 meter, 100 centimeters. And it comes in a pack with all kinds of colors. And I used to use this Bristol papers to be my drop paper. Drop paper is what I used to have on my desk, and each time I had some spillage, it would go on this. And if I wanted to clean, if it's a stencil or a stamp, I would clean it on this, and through time it gets more and more stuff on it. And I used to do it a long time ago. I stopped doing it. Don't know why was the reason back there, but I stopped using a drop paper. But when it was there was a lot of stuff on the drop paper, I would turn it into a painting. So it was ugly, and then it was not ugly. Up to a week ago, this was in a frame in my living room. It fell, the frame broke, so I could take it out and show you. And why do I want to show you? Because basically this is how you turn something with all kinds of stuff. There was so many things going on here that not color coordinated, not theme coordinated, nothing. All kinds of stuff was here. And each time that I needed to clean something or use leftover paint was going on here. And the best way to go about it, and it doesn't have to be a drop paper, it can be like like the notebooks or whatever you want to call them, or the books that I use leftover paint. First, it's just by applying whatever left paint you have, and then you start building on it. This is a mess, but this mess can become, first of all, a collage paper, painted paper, just by stenciling. And again, the stenciling I've done here, it's from leftover paint from another project. So here I just smeared leftover paint from one project, and I will do another project. I will have leftover paint, and I will use whatever on my desk, the stencil or the stamp, and it will go on top of this or another page. I just started this one, that's why I only have these 2 pages, but I can show you. Let's see. Here we go. When I've got a small amount of leftover paint, then it goes here in this art and artist dictionary. Picked it for £1 in London, 7 years ago. And again, more, all kinds of notebooks, whatever. This is just leftovers. And it turns into something else. And the best way to go about it is to do something that will be a common thing for all of it, to make it more cohesive. All the crazy elements in the back. And the way I go about it is, well, I'm not doing it anymore because I don't have a drop paper, but I'm doing it on other projects. I used to, first of all, coat everything with glue. Why? Because it's easier to go with acrylic paint on top of it and do all kinds of stuff. It creates some kind of sealant to the paper. It makes a painting on top of it easier, and you can play with the acrylic paint more. You can use sprays, you can use acrylic paint. I used to coat everything with glue, let it sit and dry, and then go and do some kind of wash on top of everything. I don't remember what kind of wash I've done here. I think it was some kind of orangey stuff. Really don't know. It's from like 6 years ago. And then after I had a common, what's it called? Dominion. I can't say it right now. That's it. Sorry. After that, I create elements that repeat, like if it's dots, or if it's the same stamp, or if it's the same stencil. I don't know if you can see it, but here there is a orangey flower. It's a stencil, so I stenciled it randomly all over. Even if you don't, if it's part of the background, by doing it randomly on the page, your eye is seeing it and creating a pattern. So you're using the same elements, the same pattern, in creating something cohesive. And then I went and done this freehand, and this is it. And it was, up till a week ago, it was in a frame. I had others, but I sold them. And I think I have a picture of another one. I have a photo of another one that I sold. I took the photo and put it in front of one of my journals. And maybe I'll find it. Here we go. Yeah, found it. This is on, this was another drop paper with all kinds of stuff going on in the back. Went with some kind of greenish wash, went and added more elements. And then I've used, it's the hour. I've mixed areas with all kinds of stuff, if it's the flower, if it's the hummingbird, and created this, and then used all kinds of sprays. So masked the areas that you see here, and all the other stuff was with sprays. So this one was again on a very large piece, like the one that I showed you now, and I sold it. So it's not here anymore. Okay. The nominator. Yeah, the nominator. I hate clear gesso. I know, I am sorry, I hate it. It has a grainy feel to it. I don't know why. I really don't like it. I work, I don't know why, but I work great with white glue. Simple white glue just works for me. Yeah, but it's a lot of work, but it was worth it. Not because I sold it, because I had fun making it. I sold it later on. But as long as I have fun, that's the point. Wow, I'm parched. Let's see what's going on here. I love this color. Ooh, okay. Let's see. It's still a little bit wet. Don't know if I should start painting this. Maybe I'll leave it to next week because I'm getting really tired. Yeah, clear gesso dries clear, but I don't like the feel of it. I'm not saying not to use it, just I don't like it. It's like I don't like what's it called? The glue that everyone is using for napkins. It's an American blend and it's expensive here. And I don't like the feel of it. Forgot the name of the darn thing. I don't like pink. Nope. But not every pink. I hate the Barbie pink, Bazooka Joe pink, Pepto-Bismol pink. I hate it. Okay. I think I will let it sit because it really is still damp and I'll just make a mess. But what I'm going to do here is first I'm going to do a dark brown wash. Probably will use watercolors just because it's easy. I can also use spray. I've got my sprays that are made from gel food coloring with water. I also can make them with brushels and the powder with the water and just go over with dark brown so it will go into all the texture, inside all the texture that I've got. And after that, I want to go with acrylic paints and pick up the high rises. I want the watercolor or the wash, for that matter, to seep into the details, be at the lowest points of the texture, and acrylic paint is going to be on the top points or a surface of the texture. Mod Podge, yes, Mod Podge, I hate it. Sorry. Don't know why. I can have white glue on my hands all day and I can't stand Mod Podge. And also gel medium, also horrible, horrible consistency, but sometimes I have to use it, especially when I'm doing putting all kinds of elements like this on texture. Then I have to use the gel medium. It's just easier to use on elements like this, or when I have all kinds of silicone molds, and when I want to apply them, I use them mostly on notebooks, creating all kinds of notebooks, on the cover of notebooks, then I use the gel medium. Yes, Pam. I started at 11:30, something like that, and now it's 1:15. Yeah. So, and I talked a lot today. I've got all kinds of stuff ready for the next stage. I've got to decorate. I want some maybe vine, and I've got this small flowers. I don't like much the color, so I'll probably cover them with gesso and then color them with whatever I want. I've got very small butterflies. I've got this, I don't know what to call it, some kind of trim that looks like a stem with leaves. And I've got this that maybe I'll use, I'm not sure. I also have some silicone mold with little leaves that maybe I'll use. I tried, let's see, yeah, here very small leaves that maybe I'll use here. I just used a hot glue gun to make this. It was just easier and faster. Usually I'm putting the glue gun, then a piece of paper, and it's just easier for me. I like to have the paper. Again, I have 2 videos I've done on using molding silicone molds, if it's this stuff or if it's the like the Stamperia molds. These are for all kinds of stuff. You don't even have to, you can even buy them where you buy stuff for baking, because some use it to decorate cakes. So it's not just for paper and whatever crafting. And I use the glue gun and a piece of paper. I like it like this, and then I just go around, fussy cut the shape. I don't know, for me it works. So I have 2 videos about all kinds of molds and all kinds of ways to use them. Again, just do a search in my channel, you can find it. All kinds of ways that you can do it, and even on silicone trivet and silicone coasters. I'm going over everything that can be used to make molds. So if you're interested, not everyone wants to go over all my videos. I'm nearing 900 now. So is there a barrier you can put between the glue and the cookie press? Sorry, I don't understand the question. Are you referring for the mold as a cookie press? Okay, why do you need a barrier? Because you want to use it also for cookies? Okay, so that's another thing I haven't covered in those 2 videos, because I'm not doing cookies. But okay, so here is how you go about it. It's a technique that is used even when you don't have a ready-made bought mold. Like when if you want to create a mask, I'm talking mask for the face, or all kinds of stuff. To create a barrier, you need something. There are, again, all kinds of techniques. One of them is using petroleum jelly, or what's the other name for it? It needs to be something greasy. Now it depending on what you are using. If you are using plaster, some are, and it depends on the finish. Some use cling wrap, what you use in the kitchen. Oh, Vaseline, yeah. So if it's something really intricate like this, then you will take a brush with Vaseline and do a very fine coat. You don't want a large amounts because you want all the details. If you are doing something, if I wanted to make a mold out of something, let's see if I've got anything to, if I had an already existing shape that I wanted to make a mold of, then I can wrap it with cling wrap. I can go over it with Vaseline. Even there are all kinds of, it's similar to cooking oil, but it's in a spray. So it's another way to go about it. Again, you need to be careful, and it's better to experiment and think about, because if I put a cling wrap here, and even if I pushed it into all the details, it won't give me the exact shape that I have here. And if I will use cling wrap on something that I want to make to be smooth, you will have still the texture of the cling wrap. So again, you need to think what you're using it on top of what, with what kind of thing you're using. If I wanted to put a plaster here in this glass, because I wanted my plaster to be in this shape when it hardens, then of course I can put here cling wrap, but the shape when it will come out dry will have wrinkles. It won't be smooth like this. If I don't care, then yes. If I want it exactly the way the glass is, then I will put Vaseline in very smooth and very even layer all over it to make something inside this. Yeah, something grease, like grease, yeah. With hot glue, I'm using hot glue directly on top of this stuff of the silicone molds, but not on the silicone molds of Stamperia. I'm going to bring it just so you will see. I don't even know if it's let's see. Okay, show and tell today. These are the silicone molds of from Stamperia. I'm not sure if it's, well, maybe it's silicone, but in another consistency than this stuff or this stuff. And this feels to me more like plastic. So I didn't want to put hot glue in it. I think it won't stand the heat of the glue. It will destroy the details of this mold. So with this, I'm using either modeling paste. Stamperia has their own paste for this, but it's expensive, so I didn't buy it. And again, modeling paste can be made home. It's glue, baby powder, talc, glue, baby powder, white acrylic paint, and water. All kinds of recipes all over YouTube. So You can make your own modeling paste. I like for this kind of projects less water. I like the consistency to be thicker. And as I said, at the top, I always put some paper. It's easier. It also easier to smooth and make sure that everything is getting into all the details, and it doesn't matter if it's this or this. By putting a paper on top, it helps smooth and push whatever you are using into all the details. And also when everything dries, it's easier to take it from the mold. Another thing is that when because I use it mostly on decorating notebook covers, it's easier that I have paper here, because paper is easier to glue than a hard glue gun, because it's all like plastic, and it's easier to glue than modeling paste or joint compound or wood filler. Again, can be done with other pastes, but you need to see what works for you. Some like their paste lighter and don't care to wait for it, I don't know, 24 hours to dry. And some like me like it thicker. And most of the time with this I'm using hot glue, with this modeling paste, but I make it thicker. Let's see. You can make cookies without sugar. There are all kinds of replacements. I know, because we hardly use sugar here. Me and hubby are, both of us were very, very fat until 7 years ago. And we both went on partly diet, and then I don't know if that's the correct name, bariatric surgery. And since then we are watching what we are eating, and if I can replace the sugar, I do. So you can use other stuff. I don't know what you have in your country, but here there are all kinds of, like, what's it called, like sweet and low or something like that, for baking. And that's what I use. And lots of times you can just take an apple and put it in a blender, and it also replaces anything that requires like vegetable oil in cooking. You can replace it either by apple mesh or banana mesh. And now I'm doing tutorials on cooking. Maybe I need to do another channel. Yeah, stevia works. Good morning, Melissa. Down under. Bye, Juanita. Melissa, you came at the end. You can watch the replay. But it's great to have you. Anyone wants more cooking tutorials? I've become an expert on low-fat cooking. I thought about making another channel with videos for, well, the thought was that very simple stuff for, I was thinking about my two boys. Well, boys, they are towering over me. But I was thinking of doing videos like for boys or bachelors, or I don't know what to call it, with simple with tutorials of simple stuff for everyday life. Eh, but I don't know if I can, if I'm up to it. It's like I'm teaching them. They know some stuff like to do an omelette, to make rice, very simple stuff. Um, but I thought that maybe to make more videos, like they don't know how to sew a button. They don't know some very basic things. I don't know. So I thought maybe I should do another channel just but with tutorials for guys. Oh, I'm great at baking. I'm great at baking, but the only problem is that again, I don't know all the. If I need to do it in English, I'm not sure that I can, that I know all the terminology to do a tutorial, because like I have a great recipe for a honey citrus a cake that you can make in the microwave, a cake for everyone, not the cupcakes, the one that you see all kinds of short videos on YouTube, that they are doing a little cake in a mug, in a coffee mug. I'm talking an actual cake, and you can do it in the microwave, and it never failed, never. So how to find stuff in the fridge, that's no tutorial. This is a guy's thing. This is just, maybe God can do it. I can't. It's in front of their face and they can't see it. I can have tumbleweeds going through the house and I'm saying, pick it up, and they don't see it. That's a guy thing. They have a problem. Life skill cooking for guys. If I'm doing a channel, I'm taking this as my name of the channel, Evie. That would be my, the name of the channel. Life skills for guys. Yeah, I need to write it. Please do favorite diabetic recipes. Oh, I've got great recipes. Just made my hubby today some little cakes in the microwave, apple cakes. It's so easy. And I have a cheesecake in the it doesn't have to be in a microwave, but I've got some for diabetics, some recipes that go great and very quick in the microwave. Some things that I invented. Yeah, because that's what I do. I've got muffins that I don't know. It's like I think 7 years I'm making them for my hobby. It just it refuses to. not start the morning with the muffins. They are from what's it called? Oats. I think it's called. It doesn't have sugar. It doesn't have any oil. It doesn't have flour, and it's so tasty. It's just apples and carrots, and I even put some dried blueberries without any sugar additive, just dried blueberries that I buy in a store, and it has eggs in it. And believe it or not, it has a little bit of instant coffee, because if you put a little bit of instant coffee in cakes, it gives an extra flavor. It's not, you won't taste coffee when you eat it. It just enhances the other ingredients. What else is there? And you need to use some kind of soft cheese or yogurt. It doesn't matter what. If it's a cottage cheese, some, but low-fat cheese. We use here 5% again, fat, 5% fat cheese. Either white cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt, anything that doesn't have sugar and is low on fat. And just so you know, whenever you want to do, if you want whatever you're doing, if you want to lose the oil that is in the cake, you replace it either with bananas, mashed bananas, or a mashed apple. Well, now I have to think about it. Maybe in between tutorials in art journaling and painting and whatever, I'll sneak in uh, other stuff about baking. But I don't know. In the last month, less and less people are watching my videos. I don't know if it's because the algorithm of YouTube, or if it's because people are tired from watching my videos, if it's boring, or I don't know, people don't have time. So I don't know if I will add more videos if people will watch, but we'll see. I also need to figure out how I am filming it, because I need to do it in the kitchen, and I don't have like a GoPro camera. I only have my phone, and here it's stationary. It's up here. I put it on some kind of whatever. Yeah, I try to make it each Thursday, my 11:30 p.m. Last week I wasn't here, I was on vacation, but I try to do the live each Thursday on my time, 11:30, and I post the other time zones for the UK, for USA, and Australia. And of course, you can always take, like, even if you are in any other place, you can take the time I'm putting for the US, put it even in Google, and in the search in Google, and type a time converter. You will get a converter that for your area. So if you are in Canada, and it doesn't matter where, you put whatever you are, and it will tell you what the time will be. Or if you are in Europe, it doesn't matter which country, you put a time converter. In one place you put Israel 11:30 p.m., and in the other cube you put your place, and it will tell you the hour that I'm going to be on. Just type time zone converter in Google. People put up the time they are going live a few days before they go live. Yeah, I know. I'm doing it only on Thursday because I don't know until the last minute if I am able to go live, for several reasons. One is that up till a month ago, I still had problems with the medication for the fibromyalgia, and sometimes the pain was too much, so I never knew if I can last for to these hours. Another thing is the situation here with the war, because sometimes the situation is more, and you don't hear about all the things that are going here. Sometimes I just can't, not emotionally sometimes, and sometimes because physically. There was 2 times that we were in higher alert because we were supposed to go to get some missiles on our heads from Iran. So it wasn't the time to go live. And sometimes emotionally, I don't have the capacity. I'm just looking at the chat. So that's that. And sometimes I'm just tired, and but I try each Thursday to rest in the afternoon so I can do this until late hours. Also, my older son, if he comes home from the military, it's most of the time it's on Thursday, and then he comes home, and then you have to deal with all the laundry for all the uniform and all kinds of stuff that need to be organized. And well, and I also like a hen clucking around him as if he really needs it. I baby him. So that's another factor on Thursdays. Well, at least now from a health, it seems like we got to the point that we know what medication works. So I'm starting to feel a lot better and less tired. Don't watch the news. It's just don't watch the news. First of all, I find that most of the TV channels, no matter what country you're in, are not objective. Doesn't matter if it's right wing or left wing, pro or against, they stopped being objective. Don't watch it. I'm telling you, don't watch it. you live longer and better without the news. You can hardly find anywhere news people that report what is really happening, no matter where and no matter the subject. While I'm still talking, I'll show you all kinds of stuff that is coming. Don't know when, but I've done a few things. I've done this that I'm hoping to upload to my website that is still under construction, and I'm hoping to upload it there so you can download it when I will do an art journal page with this, so we can all do the same thing or something similar. I also done this to dragonflies that I want to upload, and again you will that's it. You will be able to also use. That's also coming up. I've been on a good strike, whatever, and I've made lots of videos that are already uploaded and will be next, and I hope you will like them. Put some recipes. Maybe it would be easier because then I will just need to translate and just write it and put it there. But it's not like a blog, so, and I still don't have control over it. So whoever is making it is a friend, and this friend has a lot of work, and I don't want to take too much of her time doing all kinds of stuff on the website until I learn how to upload things by myself. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just put a link in the description box, or maybe I will get around, take some kind of a what it's called, tripod that holds the cellular phones, and take it to the kitchen and make something like I've done the video with the paper dyeing. I took some plastic steps, put some kind of tripod on top of it, and it was wobbly, so I put a brick on that will hold it, and then I stuck my phone in it, and that's how I made the video that was done in the balcony, outside in the balcony. If you could see it, you would piss in your pants laughing. Okay, so yeah, I'm talking and I'm talking. Well, it was better from how I started the channel with the flip phone. Oh, I should have took a photo of it. It was a pile of 3 shoe boxes And then I put on top of it the flip phone in an angle, and I didn't have anything to so that will hold at an angle. I had the triangle makeup sponges. That's what I stuck under under the flip phone, and that's how I made my first video. And it was all wobbly, and it only filmed from here from the side, and it was crooked, and oh my god. And I think I was almost having a heart attack making the video. Yeah, it was so funny. And then when I done the dyeing of the papers in the balcony, it was so funny to to make again some kind of tower just so it will catch everything. Someone asked me about the dyeing papers. Where did I put them? Someone told me, why didn't I show the back side of the papers? And now where did I put them? I didn't think about it. It was just, I was more focused on the front of the papers, and I wasn't overly concerned about the back side. Where the heck did I put them? You can hardly see the floor now with all the stuff that I took out and put aside. It was here. It's probably it was here, I'm telling you. Oh, now I'm seeing another thing that I wanted to show you. Bought this clock from the cheap store, and I'm thinking of doing some decorating and doing a video. I've done this in the past, but not on video. I've got one still left, so just so you can see what I'm talking about. Here it is. That's the one that I have left. The other ones were sold, and I had one with flowers and butterflies on it, and another one I took it into a steampunk look. That's how I've done it, and they were sold in some kind of art fair, craft fair, whatever that we used to have here. It's bugging me now that I can't find where I've put all the papers. It really is bugging me. Never mind. Maybe in the next video I will remember to show you the the underside of the papers. So yeah, this is it for tonight, my tonight. I'm done. That's it for me. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for the patience with my English that gets stuck sometimes. And I'll be seeing you in my next video. And it's great that you are asking me questions, because then I know what I need to cover, what I need to do. So it's great to have feedback. So bye everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.